Hi everyone and welcome back to the rooting series. I hope you are enjoying it. I hope that you're enjoying having a practice every single day and that you are being able to show up for yourself, give yourself time and take care of yourself. So today's class is going to be based on the core. We're going to do some breathing exercises to start with, and then a little bit of fire and heat in the core. Alright, so when you're ready, come down to your mat and lie on your back. So lying on your back, can you just make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, knees are up to the sky. And you can close your eyes or soften your gaze, but just bring your hands to rest on your lower belly. So just in from those hip creases, hip bones. Allow your hands to rest. And start to notice your breath here. Becoming aware of your natural breath and how it feels in your body. Just seeing where your breath ends up in your body when you breathe in, and then where you're breathing out from. And then we're changing the breath so that you're breathing in and out through the nose. And you're trying to send your breath into your hands. But imagine that the breath is also moving across the torso, so it moves across towards those hip creases, the hip bones, it moves across into the sides of your rib cage, as well as moving down into your belly. So that the sensation that you can feel through your hands is not necessarily a blowing up of just the belly, but it's more of a lateral movement and more of an expansion through the rib cage. So you can really feel the breath moving across the torso. We're going to keep this going as we start to tilt through the tailbone, moving the pelvis. Can you tilt the tailbone so that the lower back lifts off the ground, and then tuck the tailbone so lower back pushes into the ground. And see here whether you can allow the movement to really come just from the pelvis rather than your back or the rest of your spine, or maybe your legs. So the legs are light here. And then you're going to allow your pelvis to come to a neutral position. So somewhere that feels good for you, that feels right in your body. Focusing on your core muscles. Now, we're looking at the deep core muscles underneath the abdominals that usually kind of make a six-pack. So can you think about the deep core muscles, and using those core muscles, you're pushing your lower back into the floor. And then you come back to neutral. You push the lower back into the floor. And then to neutral. And maybe a neutral for you is with that lower back more on the ground, but you're still using your core muscles to push the ground away from you with your lower back. See if you can keep breathing as you do this. And then we're going to push the lower back into the ground with those core muscles, and we're going to lift the right leg into the air. Now, can you notice here whether the core or the abdominals want to kind of lift up into that rounded belly shape? If so, imagine that you're trying to pull those abdominal muscles across your torso. And then drop the right leg, lift the left. Drop the left, lift the right. So we're keeping lower back grounded, and then we're using the abdominals and the core to lift each leg. Trying to pull the abdominals across the torso rather than allowing them to bow up into that rounded shape. And then you can stay here, or you can lift both legs into the air, keeping lower back pushing into the ground. Can you drop the right heel? Lift. Left heel. Lift. Keep going. Notice whether you've lifted your lower back off the ground, and just rearrange if you need to, reset the position. 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. And then you're going to turn over so that you're resting on your left side, and then push yourself up to hands and knees. Once you get to that hands and knees position, can you create a tabletop? The spine is neutral. We're pulling belly up and in, and also try not to let your rib cage flare. Try and pull rib cage towards the top of your hips. You're going to reach your left arm out in front of you, fingertips on the ground. Right leg long behind you, fingertips on the ground, and then lift both into the air. And reach them long if you've got the space, and then you're pulling elbow to knee. Try and avoid rounding the spine. Lengthen. Squeeze. Lengthen. Squeeze. Lengthen. Squeeze. Lengthen. Keep this going. Two more. And then relax. Shake it off, give yourself a little wiggle, and then we'll do the other side when you're ready. So resetting the spine, neutral spine. Rib cage isn't flaring towards the ground, you've got it lifted and pulling down towards your hips. And then the left leg reaches long behind you, right hand reaches out in front of you. And then lift off the ground. elbow to knee underneath the belly button, but we're not rounding through the spine. And we reach. Squeeze, reach. Squeeze, reach. Squeeze, reach. Keep that going. Three, 2, 1. Reach long, bring the knee and the hand to the floor, shake it off. And then we're going to come to rest on the side of our hips. So left hip is on the ground, knees are facing forwards. Come down onto that left elbow, left forearm, and then push through the legs to lift the hips off the ground. Reach the right arm to the sky, and then we're going to twist. So we twist that right arm underneath, and then open back up. We twist, open back up, twist. Just giving those obliques a little bit of attention here, warming them up. Nice, release the hips, other side. So resting on that right hip, right thigh, right hand comes down to the ground, the elbow rests, forearm rests. Make sure that shoulder is nice and strong as you lift the hips. Left arm to the sky, and then you twist and reach that left arm underneath right armpit. Lift back up. Twist. Lift. Nice, keep it going. Don't forget to breathe. Two more. 1, 2, and then relax. We're going to come to hands and knees, bring big toes together, knees nice and wide, send your hips all the way back. Reach the arms forwards, allow the head to rest. If forehead doesn't reach the floor, just stack your hands one on top of the other, or maybe fists, or grab a block or a book, or a cushion in order to support the head. And then breathe into the front body, side body, back body. Bringing your hands onto the ground, push you up to a comfortable seat. Bring hands to the chest, one on top of the other. We take a moment in gratitude. Let's thank our bodies for coming to the mat. Thank our minds for calming down. Thank our breath for always being there to support us. Finish with a breath in through the nose and a sigh out through the mouth. Breathing in, sighing out. Thank you so much for joining me. You can now step back into your day. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very soon.